Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while and I am returning to you with this gorgeous shiny aubergine, or an eggplant as some of you might call it. This turned out to be a huge hit with my students on Patreon. That's where you can find a full step-by-step tutorial with line drawing, material lists and a reference photo. And here, without wasting any time, you see me starting to mix up that beautiful black color. So you need 3 at least primary colors to mix your black. So I started with my gorgeous Cenelia red, then started adding lots of Fallow blue, so a little bit heavier on red and blue, and then started adding some of my yellows to start making that color into more black. And because the aubergine has this beautiful purpley violet undertones, so I also decided to add a little bit of quinacridone magenta just to give this brightness and violet-like undertones. So you see I'm going a little bit heavier on red because I don't want it to be a bluish tone. I want it to have this purpley magenta color. So you just add the color into your black to lean it towards one or the other shade. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? So I decided to mix up that color in this little pot that you can see so that I can use it as my base if I need to pick up a little bit of that color and then change it slightly in a different hue. But right now, this first layer, white on white, we're going to be using just as we mixed it up. So the first step, of course, is apply a generous water glaze onto my paper. So what we are looking for is to have this really evenly glistening glaze that you can still see the texture of your paper, but no drying patches and no puddles, just even. And I load my brush fully with this gorgeous black color. And I will start applying it from the darkest part of the aubergine, eggplant. So you can see me dropping straight into the center of the aubergine that has the blackest part. And I'm painting around the highlights, so we do want to preserve those highlights because this black color is going to be staining. So if you will want it to just lift off, you won't retrieve white of the paper. So you do want to paint around them and try to keep an eye on them, not to let any color get into those biggest 2 highlights, 3. So when you start from the darkest part, then you can move to slightly lighter part when you have less pigment on your brush. So once we covered those main dark parts, I clean my brush, take the water out on my towel. You don't want to bring any water into this settling beautiful glaze, and I keep wiping everywhere that I want the color to either be white or lighter. And you can do the process over and over again until the glaze dries out. But you do want to clean and take the water out of your brush after each sweep, and make sure bring no water onto settling glaze. So next step is dry brush. So I will bring a little bit of my color on the palette, and I want to add some water and thin it down. Because when we dry brush, we use quite the opposite. When we paint white on white, we load our brush with this thick, beautiful color because it gets diluted with water on the paper. But we want to dry brush, we want to pick up quite thin, transparent and lighter color, because when you dry brush, the color stays darker than when you glaze with very wet paint. So here are the few ways we can do it. So we load our brush, take your excess out on the towel, and we gently go across the paper, touching barely just with the tip of our brush. You can do it with a bigger brush that I did. You can do it smaller. You can spread your bristles and create a little bit wider crayon-like marks. But I will do with a single brush stroke at a time. You can change directions to go one way, then cross-hatch the other way, but important is that make sure your glaze dries out when you keep working on the same area. Because if you will keep working on the wet area, you will start lifting off the color underneath. What we need to pay attention to as we work with this dry brush around the aubergine eggplant is that there are shadows within the shadow. So for example, if you pay attention in the darkest part down of the aubergine, in that darkest part you can see there are a little bit of few areas that are a bit lighter. So when you dry brush, try not to make this layer or the area completely flat. Try to introduce a little bit variations within the shadow. There's a little bit of lighter, a little bit darker, so pay attention, because if you're gonna just make this blob completely flat black, the object will become quite flat as well. So if you want 3D and to create roundness and shiny effect of that beautiful skin, you need to have those tonal variations within that really dark area. So I will make sure I leave a little bit of lighter areas and focus and create a little bit dark in certain areas within that really dark part of the aubergine. So I work quite dry, so this is why it's called dry brush, because when you want to create this really solid black color, it's easier to get there with the dry brush. You can also glaze and create give lots of layers, but that would take way longer because you need to let each layer dry, and you would have to work with very transparent watercolors to avoid it getting muddy on the paper. So dry brush is usually the technique you want to use when you want to achieve those really not only smooth but really dark and bright colors. That applies also with any other brightness, not just darkness, like for example bright red color. Right, so next step is you can see how the aubergine is now very off balance because we have all these highlights or the darkest parts. So now we're gonna be applying our midtones, and now we're gonna be glazing with this silky milky color. So I'm picking up a little bit of my color and adding a little bit more of red. So I want to create a little bit of tonal difference. On one side I see a little bit more red tone, around the edges where the reflective light is I see a little bit more bluish tone as it reflects the surrounding. So that's why I pick up a little bit of my base color and I just slightly adjust it by adding exact same pigments that were used to mix those colors, just changing its quantity. I create a different tone. So the slightly bluish tone I use around the edges, and you can see how watery and transparent pigment I use. You don't want anything dark. You want to be very gentle with those midtones. You'd rather layer more and repeat the process and come back and do another second, maybe third layer, but you do want it to do gradual. So I go around with my sort of neutral gray color around the edges. Then I pick up our original color, which is more purpley, more violet, and go on the left hand side of the aubergine. And that big highlight that we saved is not completely white, so we want to tone it down a little bit. And the redder tone I apply on the right hand side of our eggplant. So you can see how the same main color, it looks like it's been painted with one color, but there are slight differences, and those differences in tone creates the shiny effect that aubergine reflects from what's around it. And you can see me now giving another few layers to balance more with our darkest tones. And that is why I also left those midtones at the end, because once we applied our darkest tones, it was much easier for us to judge how dark our midtones and highlights have to go. Right, so the last step is to paint in this green little stem and it will be finished. So let's mix up a beautiful bright green color. So I start with my lemon yellow, which is my cool yellow. Then I'm adding my quinacridone gold, which is my warm yellow. Then I'm going to be adding some phthalo blue. And of course, to make the green a little bit more earthy and natural, I'm adding a little bit of red, and you can see how it tones down that brightness and creates a little bit more natural green. And then I keep adjusting and just adding a little bit more yellow in comparison to my reference. So I drag some of that color to one side and adding a little bit more yellow just for those little bit brighter, lighter color areas of the stock. And on the other side, adding a little bit more saturated same pigments to just create a little bit darker green, so that I have a little bit of variations in the green. So the first layer, of course, I'm going to start as I usually do with wet on wet. So a nice even glaze of water on my paper first. Then I'm starting to paint with a slightly lighter green. And you can see, while on Aubergine we want to create this very smooth and shiny glossy effect, on the stock is quite the opposite. So I do paint in the same manner to try create the texture. So I, instead of nice sweeps, I dab to create slight uneven surface of the layer. So once I applied my initial lighter color, while the glaze is still dark, I'm adding a little bit of darker pigments. I'm still working on the same wet on wet glaze. It's that first layer, and right before the color and the layer starts drying out, I lift a little bit of color with a clean damp brush. Right, so now we have our first base layer. What we need to do is to emphasize some of the shadows to create a little bit more texture. And the area is quite small, so I decided to just pick up my small brush, number 0, and continue painting with a little bit of dry brush. I will have a second brush on my other hand in case I need to soften anything. It's easier to have a second brush on the other hand rather than keep cleaning the brush you're painting with. So that way you don't need to refill the painting brush too often. So I'll just closely monitor my reference photo and working on those shadows, little bumps and crevices, and soften the edges that needs to be softened with my second brush. The surface of the stock is quite uneven and bumpy, so I don't try to lose myself too much into exact detail that I see, but I do try to make it as close as possible. But it's more of a general feeling of this uneven texture, and I'm just trying to create this effect just by adding lots of little shadows here and there. So once the detail is all in, I just want to give a little bit of freshness. It got a little bit dark and a bit blue, so I added a little bit more lemon yellow into my green mix and just glazed over the areas that I want brightening up. Once I did that, I saw that I can still touch up a little bit with those really dark parts. I think what gives the realism to the object, if you don't only concentrate on keeping your highlights when you paint with watercolors, but you also capture some of those really dark, so the contrast makes it just so yummy. So here it is. Here's our eggplant or aubergine. I hope you enjoyed it. Full step-by-step tutorial is on my Patreon. Just find the link in the description box, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!